Do you want to pass your baccalaureate exam with flying colors? Do you want to succeed? Do you want to get the highest mark possible? Are you one of the students who are asking many questions about the final exam but couldn't get the right answers? Well, if yes, this video is for you, because I'm gonna show you many interesting things related to the final exam. Well, first of all, let me show you that there are 3 basic parts in the final exam. Number 1, comprehension questions. Number 2, grammar. Number 3, writing. So stay with me, don't go anywhere. We're going to have enough details about each part. Stay tuned. Hi, good that you're still there. Well, for the moment, we're gonna try to talk a little bit about the first part, which is comprehension. And of course, you know that comprehension simply means understanding. So the objective of this part is that you have a text, and this text is followed by a couple of questions, and of course you're going to need to demonstrate and show that you have understood the text well. How are we going to know that this student or that student has understood the text well? Simply through answering the questions in a clear and simple way. First of all, you should know that comprehension questions, they have 15 points. So it is a huge part in the final exam. You should pay very serious attention to it. Okay? Great. There is a very important question students keep asking. What should I start with? Should I read the text first or comprehension questions first? Well, one thing that is sure, that you need first to look at the title and the pictures and statistics and anything that is there that can help you to understand the general idea of the text first. And of course, don't forget to use your highlighter and your pencil, because this paper where the text is yours. You will not submit it. You will not give it to the administration after the exam. So you are free to use it the way you wish. Once you read the first reading and you get a general idea about the text and the topic of the text, you're going to have a look at comprehension questions, but you should focus and use your draft to write anything that can help you to get the right answer. Read comprehension questions, then get back to the text. Again, with the help of these very interesting tools, you underline all the possible answers. When it comes to writing down your answer, try to use the only space given to you. You have a space there, you should respect that space. One more thing, you should not write things from your head. Get everything from the text. Oh yes, you should not pay more attention to grammar at this level. Even if you have mistakes at this level, it is not that important. So you can make some spelling mistakes and it's okay, because the objective here in this comprehension part, it is the understanding. It's not grammar. But in the second part, which is grammar and language, you should be careful about mistakes, whether it is spelling or grammar or anything. Try your best to avoid them. So you have a text, and after the text we have questions. What kind of questions do we have there? Let me share with you some examples. Number one, that is very famous, which is, are these statements true or false? You should be careful about this one, because you need to write first true or false, and you justify. And of course, justification should be from the text. By the way, everything you have in this part should be taken from the text, unless you are asked to give your opinion, which is very rare. So basically, you need to base all your answers on the text. Nothing more, nothing less. So for true or false questions, you need to specify, is it true or is it false? And then you justify it if it is true or if it is false. Both cases. Be careful about that part. Well, another type or another example of questions is this. Find in the text words that mean the almost the same as. So here you need to find the synonyms of the words. Be careful about this. If you find there an adjective, you should get an adjective. If you have a verb, get a verb. If you have an adverb, get an adverb, as you can see in the example. Well, another very interesting question up there is, what do the underlined words in the text refer to? What you're supposed to do here is look for a word that can replace the word given, that is underlined, that is given to you in the final exam. For example, you have the word he, and it is underlined. So what you need to do, go back in the text and try to find a word that can replace that. And probably in this case, it must be a name of a boy or a man. Okay? The second type of question that is again very interesting and integral there, which is answer these questions from the text. Well, these questions, there are some key words I'd like you to be careful about. As an example, you can find where. So when you have where, basically you need to look for an answer which is about a place, which is about a location. It can be a city, a country, it can be a village, it can be a house, a building, anything. All right? Another example is you might find why. And of course here you need to look for a reason or a cause or an argument. The reason why something is done or something was done. All right, another example is when or what time. Here you need to look for time. For example, a date, a year, a month, a day, etc. Or you can find the question starting with how. Here you need to find the manner or the way something was done. All right? You can find also who. And who, of course, here you need to look for a person. Who did this? Who carried this? Etc. Or you might find the word what. What, of course, can be answered in different ways, but basically it is an event. All right? It is an event, it is an activity someone has done. All right, the second part of the final exam is called language or grammar. And it has also 15 points, just like comprehension questions. And this grammar or language is made basically of 3 parts. So you'll find there vocabulary, and when we say vocabulary, we mean collocations. And we mean also word formation, like prefixes or suffixes. The second thing is tenses. So you can find there, for example, past perfect. You can find future perfect, etc. You can also find reported speech and passive voice and stuff like that. The third part is called functions. And functions simply means communicative skills. That is, example, apologizing, making and responding to good or bad news, etc., etc. Well, generally and basically speaking, you'll find there 5 to 7 questions, and all of them are related to these 3 items I talked about: vocabulary, tenses, and functions. Well, now let me give you 3 basic guidelines that you need to bear in mind while entering this part of language. First of all, you should read carefully and pay very close attention to the questions. Read them carefully. The second thing I'd like to share with you is that in functions, you need to use those expressions used in expressing those functions in your answer. For example, if you are asked to apologize, you should say one of these, and then you finish your sentence or your response. Okay? Make sure you give only one answer when it comes to tenses. Even if you have 2 possible answers, give just one. Now we'll be talking about the last part and the third one, which is writing. Writing has 10 points. 10 points are divided into 2 parts. One task, one piece of writing is out of 4, and the second task is out of 6 points. Well, for this part, I'd like to give you an idea here. When you go to this link, you will find a video and you will see how to do the paragraph. Because generally speaking, in all the final exams, there is a kind of focus on paragraph writing. And also, if you check this link, you're going to find very detailed video on writing a paragraph. Well, now let me just give you some general guidelines. The first and the most important thing you should know is that you should be very simple when it comes to writing. Please don't write those long, confusing sentences. You should remember that the longer your sentences are, the more likely you are to be making mistakes. So if you want to avoid mistakes, try to be as simple as possible. Have short sentences followed by full stops. Have linking words started with capital letter and followed by a comma, and then you have a short sentence. Please do check the link. You will find everything there. One thing that I'd like you to be careful about: in the final exam, you're supposed to do 2 pieces of writing. So it's not a choice, do this or this. No, that's a mistake. You should do both of them. Well, and of course there is one thing again that you need to be careful about, which is the draft. So try to use it wisely, use it intelligently. You have your piece of writing, you write it here, and in the beginning you don't need to worry much about mistakes. Just write, and then you will have another chance to go over everything and correct everything. And of course, on the other parts of your draft, you should do the brainstorming, and you will find the example here in the link. Go and check. Well, that's it. I wish you the best of luck.